Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Justin's Quest, and in today's video, my quest is to find out how does Life is Strange Double Exposure compare to previous games in the Life is Strange series. Life is Strange Double Exposure is developed by Deck 9 Games and published by Square Enix. Deck 9 returns to this franchise after True Colors, and it seems like they are in charge of this franchise now. Double Exposure got announced back in June, and it was going to feature Max Caulfield from the first game. Max was back and I was super excited. The game released at the end of October and I took my sweet time playing it. And I'm pleased to say that after finishing the game the other day, I am happy about it and kinda disappointed with this game. And I have so much to talk about. Life is Strange Double Exposure is the fourth mainline game in the series. This time around the game puts its focus on a murder mystery with fantastical elements thrown into the mix. Double Exposure features 5 chapters and it was released all at once, unlike the previous entries of episodes being released one by one. I like this approach a lot as I had the whole game to play and I could pace myself. The story in this game is actually quite good, until the end. It goes to places I didn't expect and some places I expected. Before we dive into the story, let's take some time talking about the gameplay because there's so many improvements here. The gameplay this time around is very solid. The movement feels a little slow and sluggish, but it is improved from the previous entries. Once again, you can walk or jog to places and look at objects around you, so that Max can say a quirky line, get nostalgic about a fun memory or a devastating one like what happened to Arcadia Bay. These are good, but the obvious winner here is the powers. This time around, Max can hop between timelines. This game features 2 timelines that both have their different tones. I will get to this point more when I talk about the story. Switching between timelines can happen in certain points and it feels smooth to go from one world to another. The environment is mostly the same, but there are clear visual differences like the color palette changing. If you are lost, then you can see which timeline you are in by looking at the top of the screen, living or dead. Max can also pulse around her. When she pulses, she can see the other world and people in it. But this power lets her see a small area and not the whole world. This mechanic was quite addictive, just pulsing to see what is different in real time. I kept pushing the button. It was a very interesting feature for the game. You can obviously choose dialogues as there are a lot of options throughout the game. I actually felt like they implemented these options well, as it creates different tones whatever you choose, but the overall choices felt like they didn't matter all that much. Seeing the action will have consequences was very few throughout the game, and the very important choices the game presents you with had some game-changing ones, but overall it led to nowhere and it felt pointless. The graphics are so good in this game. It is definitely the best looking Life is Strange game, because the lighting in the game, especially on the characters, was amazing. The details and animations were also top notch. But I had a nitpick. All the characters look good and realistic, but the characters of Moses and Lucas look too much like Pixar animation rather than the realistic style Double Exposure was going for. Their faces and especially the hair was way too smooth. I don't know if people will have this issue like me, but it stuck out to me and it distracted me a lot. The game features a notebook where Max can put her thoughts into, a messaging system that you can at times interact with, a social media feed to get more lore if you are invested in this world, and objectives for the current quest. Okay. Let's talk about the story from the start. I will try not to spoil the whole game, but there might be some spoilers so that it gives more context to what I'm talking about. We start the game with Max living her life in Caledon University as a photographer. Her and her close friend Safi break into an abandoned bowling alley to capture the moments. As with all Life is Strange games, this opening was your classic Life is Strange opening. Everything seems good, Max is enjoying her life with her friends, doing what she loves, taking photos. One small detail I really liked: if you press the button that was the button for the rewind from the first game, Max will actually say that her powers don't work anymore. But we get a sense of inner conflict, as Max is clearly sad about what happened in the past. This is where you get your answer to as what happened in the first game's ending. Save Chloe or save Arcadia Bay. With a conversation with Safi, the game presents this option to you so that the story can continue, knowing your ending. I chose to save Chloe, so in my game Chloe is alive. And this is why Max is devastated and kinda haunted about what has happened to Arcadia Bay. We get introduced to so many characters, one of them being Moses. Max, Safi and Moses enjoy a chill night watching the meteor shower at the university, and then, okay, spoiler warning, 3, 2, 1, Safi gets killed. This is what puts the game in motion. From this point onwards, it becomes a full-blown murder mystery as Max tries to uncover who has killed Safi. This is where Max's new powers of switching between timelines come into play. She travels to a world where Safi is still alive. The drama this brought to the game was very well written, because Max has to deal with the same person twice, 1 in a world where Safi is dead, and 2 in a world where Safi is alive. Even seeing her friend Safi alive made it complicated for Max. I just wish that the game dived deeper into this aspect more, trying to balance 2 worlds and keep up with the relationships you make with people. There was one instance where the game gave me an answer that was meant for the dead world but presented itself in the living world. This actually made me really confused as to what I said to the same person in their own world, but I like this confusion, so I wanted more of that. The whole story is very grounded and set in one location, mostly in the university campus. The limited location made the game feel smaller in scale, but more personal as well. I wasn't a huge fan of that, but I did appreciate it. It wasn't all over the place or lost focus. The whole switching between worlds was handled well enough that I felt satisfied and fully engaged while playing this game. There are some odd choices that happen with the multiple world system though. I felt like the implications and how the main characters react to these revelations seemed toned down. I said main because the side characters like Detective Vince Alderman reacted how a normal person would. Where the game went downhill was when the hurricane appeared again in chapter 4. The same hurricane appears from the first game because of how messed up the timelines become. From that point on, I wasn't a huge fan of how the story went. Another spoiler warning for the ending. I refute Safi's decision at the end. Her plan to find other superpowered people could lead into an interesting choice, but it made the game feel like it is going to connect to other titles in the series to make this MCU-style connected universe. Talking about MCU, the whole Max will return at the end really threw me off. I like the idea of Life is Strange games being standalone, but now it seems like they're making a sequel to Double Exposure. The ending was weak and felt anticlimactic. Let's talk about the characters. Like I mentioned, Double Exposure stars Max Caulfield from the first game. She is more grown up and matured. She seems more outgoing compared to before. Deck 9 really did handle Max's character faithfully and respectfully because I wasn't sure how I would feel playing the game as Max again. I was sure excited but nervous at the same time, and I'm happy to say that she is the Max we all know and love. Just, you know, grown up. Her new powers and the challenges it brought was a big highlight for her character. The murder mystery plot made more revelations and brought more layers to her character. She is more of a detective in this one, and I felt like this fit her character well. The biggest highlight for me was that Max was clearly still hurting from what has happened to Arcadia Bay and Chloe. The character development of Max was very good in this game. Safi, one of Max's close friends, the whole story revolves around what has happened to her. Her character was good and I could see how good her chemistry with Max was, but she took a different path than I was expected by the end of the game, and it was one of the reasons I didn't like the ending. Moses, another Max's friend, he was such a sweet character, always helping Max and Safi. I felt bad for him in some situations, and I have to say they could have done more with his character, but he served his purpose. Amanda, Max's crush, who works at the Snapping Turtle, just a classic Life is Strange character who fit right into this franchise. I wish we got more development with her and Max. Gwen, a sassy character, Win, a playful fool with an ego, and Lucas, a two-faced writer who's hiding a lot of secrets. 3 of them felt like the main suspects as to what has happened to Safi, and there was a reason to hate all of them, but by the end they were okay. I was invested in these characters, but there was nothing special about them. Overall, Life is Strange Double Exposure is a good game until the end. Up until the end of chapter 4, I was enjoying myself so much. I was thinking to myself it might be as good as the first one. As the game got nearer to the finish line, I changed my feelings towards it. The cast of characters are likable, but they overall felt weak and bland. Max was a standout. I thought her voice actor and the way Deck 9 handled the character was good. The game really respects the first game and the choice at the end with Chloe, which made me happy. The story was engaging and I loved the whole murder mystery in the first few chapters. The music, the overall voice acting throughout the game, and the tone was well done, and the game had a cozy feel to it. I loved how great the graphics and the lighting was too. I do feel a bit disappointed because I was ready to give this game an 8.5, but I have to say after that weak ending, it kinda left a sour taste in my mouth. I still like the game and it is worth playing, but I would say maybe wait for a discount. My score for Life is Strange Double Exposure is a 7.5 out of 10. Everyone, if you like this video, please leave a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Your support really does motivate me to make new content. And what did you think about the game? Did the ending disappoint you as much as it did for me? Let me know down below and I'll see everyone on the next video.